Hello and welcome to week 7 of PA212. We are in the Pharmacy Technician Certification Exam Review book, and we are in chapter 13 and 14 this week, and we are reviewing calculations on pediatric dosing. Before I get to lecture, I just wanted to talk to you about your discussion. Your discussion question is a little different this week as it's pertaining to working a calculation step by step. So you are taking the calculation problem that they're giving you and then working it how you see fit to work it. So basically, I would read your book first, the chapters in your book, or review, excuse me, and then go back to your discussion and work that. So typically, I'm looking for you to write a paragraph, about 250 words in your discussion. This week, I'm not looking for that so much. I'm looking on how you would work the problem, and then do you find it easy? Tell me if you find it easy, or I had problems here, or how do I work this? That kind of dialogue needs to be put in the discussion so that then we can talk to each other about how we would work it. Try to be honest. In a discussion question, if someone posts, then you can see it. So don't just copy right from it. It doesn't do you any good. Make sure that you actually know how to work it. If you are having problems, reach out to me. I'd love to show you some different examples. I don't even have to show you the discussion, and then you can try to work the discussion by yourself. Okay, so that is the discussion question. Let's jump in to chapter 13. It's pediatric dosing. And when we're talking about pediatric dosing, why it's so different is because we use their body weight. It's hard for me to say that a 2-year-old weighs the same as another 2-year-old. So we do it on body weight. And typical body weight is measured in pounds, but typical pharmacy calculations, we need their pounds to kilograms. So make sure that you know how to do that conversion, taking pounds to kilograms. And that's in earlier chapters in this book. Make sure to look back at that if you don't know how to do that. You need to memorize how to do that because that comes up in a lot of different tests. We're using Young's rule and Clark's rule on how to, when we calculate some of these dosages. And it gives you right away how to do that. It gives you some examples. It also shows you going from pounds to kilograms, 2.2 pounds in 1 kilogram, and so that is what you need to commit to memory, and so it does it right there for you. Doing BSA and then doing your example of Young's rule and Clark's rule, and most calculations will ask you to do it in one of those certain rules. If it doesn't ask you which rule to use, you just use the one that you know best. All right. And then going into chapter 14, in the chapter review questions for 13 on page 130, you are doing the odd questions only. There are 10. There are just 5 that you need to answer. Parenteral dosages, this is if you're injecting or an IV and how to calculate that. It walks you through the problem and how to find that solution. A lot of your quiz is about this chapter, so make sure that you do really dive into that. It's again a very short chapter, 10 questions at the end on how to do, and you're only doing the odd ones, so make sure that you look at that very closely. How to read a label, how many units to dispense, ratios, that kind of stuff. And that is all on your quiz. There are 10 questions on your quiz, 2 points apiece. So make sure that you really look at those calculations and are able to answer that. Because we are studying for the certification exam or reviewing for the certification exam in this class, I ask that you don't use your book. Commit these calculations to memory, like Clark's rule and Young's rule, and then work those problems in your quizzes and in your assignments. And use your book before you submit it, but make sure that you're trying to use what you committed to memory, especially when you're doing pounds to kilograms, Young's rule, Clark's rule. Those are ones that come up very frequently, and then also ratio and proportions come up in a lot of the different calculations. So these are very important chapters that you need to know. If you're having problems working these, let me know. I'd like to send you some examples. I can do it over email, I can do it over phone, text, whatever's easiest for you, and we can just keep working problems if you need a little bit more help. That's not a problem. All right, so I think I've covered that. I've covered the discussion. I'm sorry it's a very quick lecture, but they're very short chapters, and it goes right into detail, the meat of what you need to know. So make sure that you are reviewing that. If you do have any questions, let me know, and I'd love to help you. Have a great week and see you soon.